tell I smell good or not.
You just got done talking to Phil, so I mean, you smell great.
It's a very good strategy. I'm not mad. Remind me to always do that.
Sure.
Coach, what are you looking to accomplish on Thursday night in the spring game?
Well, I think just, execute. I mean, this is the classic coach speak, like, get in and out of the huddle, get the signal, play clean, eliminate all the stuff that can get you beat from an offensive perspective, things you can control, all the stuff that pre and post snap. Stuff happens after the snap, we're going to be playing against good players with good coaches. Stuff's going to happen after the snap. You're going to win some and lose some, but it's the stuff before and after the snap, that we got to control and continue to clean up.
How satisfied have you been with Phil in that regard? With your tempo, the different tempos you want to go, having him never played the position, has he picked it up as well as you'd hope?
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed if I didn't know that he had played in position. I wouldn't have guessed that he hadn't.
Okay.
Seems to be pretty natural there. Sure. Not seems to be. I think he is natural there. He's done a nice job of handling it.
The quarterback this spring, 13 practices. What do you feel like the biggest ground you've made with those guys, whether it be on the field or in the classroom?
Yeah, I think it's just probably the classroom and then translating that over to the actual field, right? I mean, there's a lot of jargon. I mean, there's a lot of terminology, and it's I wouldn't say it's a simple offense. I don't think it's overly complex in the same breath, but it's all new nonetheless. I mean, this is I always kind of equate it to like when you first started driving, like when you were 16. Right, when I first started driving, I was pretty focused on, the steering wheel and, getting it in gear and blinkers and braking, you were focused because you're not comfortable doing it. And then obviously as you get older, it's a little bit more of a, what do you say, just a reflex to drive. And right now, our guys are still like 16-year-old drivers at times, where and so we've got to get to where we're, middle-aged drivers, where we're in control but not doing crazy stuff, and so that's just kind of a random, explanation of where we're at. Is just getting comfortable in seeing the signal, the play call, and it's like, oh man, this is like old hat, like this is a piece of cake, And so we've grown in that area for sure. Got more growth to do.
What's the quarterback equivalent of a death grip on 10 and 2?
I think the equivalent is like seeing a signal that you don't know, right? And you're putting words, you're communicating words that don't mean a lot to you. You know them, but you don't know them, right? So it's like I know the concept on paper, I know what's supposed to happen here, but now when it's in live and we're rolling here, can it be reflexes? Can it be common? Just very easy for me and transitionally to know. Okay, there's the signal. Here's the protection. Okay, here's my progression. They know that if it slows down. Right, if you give them the driver's test, so to speak. I don't know why we're going down this lane. I chose to. That's why. Then we went down the lane. But it's, in the classroom, it's transitioning those things that and making them reflex. And that only happens through repetition. And so we're getting better and better. Each rep we get, each day goes by, we're getting better and we're growing in that area.
You feel like you have enough playmakers in this offense heading out of the spring, or are you still looking for some guys to step up?
We've had a lot of guys make plays this spring, but we're always looking for guys to step up too. That's the name of the game, right? I mean, you got to have guys that win one-on-one, that can make a guy miss in the open field, that can win their one-on-one block. Those are playmakers, right? We have old linemen that are playmakers, that win their block, and you can count on them to run behind them. That's a playmaker, right? And so we've certainly had a myriad of guys make really nice plays this spring, but we also are in the pursuit of always looking for guys to step up, to be consistent, right? And sometimes playmakers can't unlock their playmaking ability until they get comfortable with what they're doing. And so I think the more comfortable we get with the terminology, with the operation, the signal, all those things, I think the more you'll see guys step forward to let their natural ability be unlocked.
Saturday we saw live 1 hour of your practice, and Isaiah Williams had the ball in his hands quite a bit. What's he add to your offense?
Well, he's unique. He's unique to our team to a large degree. I'm not saying that he has a skill set that nobody else has, but his skill set is unique. He's very, very, very quick. You guys know, y'all know all this. He's very quick in tight area spaces. He's got an incredible amount of acceleration. He can go from 0 to 60. Here we go with the car deal again. He can go 0 to 60 in no time flat, and that's a good skill set. And so we're always going to try to, his position he plays, kind of what you would say kind of organically or vicariously is going to get opportunities because of the nature of the position he plays, as far as those little short area quickness, runs, catches, option routes, quick routes, all that kind of stuff. But I've been pleased with the way, that he has, brought playmaking ability to our offense.
Kind of a silly question with this, like season 4 months out, but are you a booth guy? Or are you on the field? Like, do you have a preference for which
That's
way?
not a silly question at all. That's a great
good,
question.
good.
Yeah. I mean, I've done both in my career. I've kind of settled into being on the field. I always have liked the field better. I mean, listen, here's the truth, right? You go upstairs, you can see the game better. Takes the emotion out of it. It becomes very watching the game plan, watching game film. Down on the field, I mean, it's like you're feeling the game, right? You can feel the ebbs and flows of the game. You can look at your guy. So I'm going to be on the field most. And Coach and I hadn't talked about that. My plan is to be on the field, but I'm very open to doing what we think's best for our organization. For me personally, I prefer to be on the field. And I've done both. Even my play call time at UTSA, I did both. Kind of settled into being on the field, and I like being down there with them.
You mentioned earlier this spring had a big install the first week. Just where are you at in that process?
Well, I'm doing maybe my 2-minute install now, and not meaning 2 minutes. We've already installed 2 minute. I'm down to 2 minutes left. I've only got a few practices left, and so I'm going through my list of there's some things we're just throwing at them here late. We've established what our cores are, what our core offense is. I think they understand that. But the last 3 or 4 days, I've tried to sprinkle some things that will need down the road, right? You kind of begin with the end in mind, so to speak. So I'm sitting here going through and trying to think, okay, if we're playing games, we're in the red zone, or it's fourth quarter, or whatever. What are the bullets that we might need to help win? And I want some familiarity before they leave the spring. Okay, I've at least seen the signal. I've at least run it one time, and then now when we go back and teach this summer and fall camp, it's us doing it, and it's nobody else on film. And I think that helps them learn.
You talk sorry, I guess I know you have Palcho and Pearl kind of back healthy. How do you feel like that maybe top 5 or 6 of the offensive line has kind of come along now?
Well, I think our line's had a really good spring. I really do, and I've been impressed with the way they carry themselves, the way they they lead our team. We don't have a lot of on offense. We don't have a lot of strong verbal leaders, but there's leadership there. Palcho's obviously brought an incredible amount of leadership, and he is one of those guys that talks and communicates and is leading out in front. And obviously, he has the respect of the team. He has the respect of the staff. And that was easy to respect him for what he's done and what he's brought. We were thrilled he came back. I know I was. It's yeah, boy, I'm glad that guy came back. So that's been really good, his leadership. But I overall, the line, I think they've really led our offense in the consistency through the spring. And so that's really encouraging. That's the group that you want, leading you. And I think they're in a good spot.
Coach, how you feeling? How you feeling about the quarterback depth? Do you feel like you have multiple guys that can go out and win a game for you if they need to?
Well, I think that's I don't know if we're there yet, to be honest with you. I mean, we've got some guys that are getting better. And each one of the guys, every one of our guys that have gotten the bulk of the reps, right? So Tommy, Ryan, and Samari, they're the ones that got the bulk of the reps. They have all shown flashes of, really, really high-level plays, critical thinking, good decisions, and ball placement. They've all done that. And so I feel good about that. Are we to the point where we can handle a whole entire game and go, win a game yet? I think that hopefully through summer preparation and fall camp, another round of knowing what's going on. It's kind of like what I go back to earlier, right? So there's some 10-2 going on there still, and I would always encourage that, to drive with 10-2. But from an offensive perspective, you like to get to where you're kind of going with one hand, and listen to music at the same time, and we've got to get there from a quarterback perspective.
I'm curious if you've talked to your colleagues about, with the transfer portal being what it is and the roster turnover being what it is now, is there a different level of expectations in the spring for connectivity and execution a little bit from what you're going to get with so many new guys?
So you're talking about just in general, the standard being a little bit different,
if you come
because
off the spring practice today,
yeah,
a little bit different than you did maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that, because you always were dealing with junior college players coming in a semester, the high school mid-year graduates. So what's really interesting about college football, right? Your roster in a quick fashion looks so different, right? You have your last team meeting in December and January, and then all of a sudden, the first meeting in the spring, first practice in spring, your team looks completely different, right? And so that's the exciting thing from a coach's perspective. Now, I don't recognize that here because what I know is what I know, right? So we're all new together, but I don't think so. I don't really think that just in talking to other guys around, I don't think that we just kind of all been conditioned to go with the flow, right? It is what it is. So there's more guys joining your team at midterm, right? You got to, the culture part of it is obviously really the most important part there when you bring new guys in from an X's and O's perspective in practice. Man, I tell you what, all of our new guys, every one of them, the old guys, the transfers, the portal guys, the high school graduates, they've all done a great job of hopping in here and just, going with the flow and understanding how things work here.
What do you need? Tommy has those flashes. What do you need to get more of those consistently? What's his next step after these spring ball practices?
Yeah, I think it's just consistency, and it's not even one particular thing. It's not Tommy. It's like it's just I'm just saying. The question was asked: do we have guys that can go win games right now? And I think we're not quite ready. We're not supposed to be ready yet. You follow me? So we're not ready. We're going to get there. I feel confident in that. I want to be clear on that. I want to be clear that we've got guys in our room that I think can play winning football in this league, but we're not there yet, right? And we got a whole summer of prep of knowing this offense, a whole nother fall camp that allows us, around 28 or 30 practices, I think. So those are going to be really beneficial to getting us game ready and comfortable in this offense so we can take it. Now, we made some tremendous strides through 13 practices, tremendous strides. I mean, I've been really impressed with that and that overall. But we're not quite ready yet. We're not game ready there, but we'll get there.
You're going to add a couple of guys too. Art's coming back, and then Donovan Leary will be here later on. What do those two guys do for your depth?
Well, I mean, obviously it's a tremendous, boost there to have a guy that's done what Art's done and played in the games and the situations that he's been in, right? So, I mean, obviously he's we've really missed him out there this spring in that perspective. I think he's missed us worse than maybe than we missed him. And I don't mean we missed him a lot, but I know it's been really hard on Art, to not be able to participate. He's such attention to detail, and he's so engaged. He'll be ready to go when it comes his time in the fall to know what's going on. And then obviously excited about Donovan and what he brings to the table from a skill set. So yeah, that'll revamp it'll be another cycle of our roster will be different. Our meeting room will be different, right, when we bring guys in. And so, it takes a lot. It takes a village at that position, right? You never know when you're going to need them. I've been through seasons where you need a whole lot of them. I've been through a season where you only need one of them. But at the end of the day, having as many guys as you can in there that are game ready makes your team better.